Hello everybody and welcome back. So we're doing this really cool effect. So you see what we are at the moment. And this one is working really good, and it's only working when it's kind of touching, So that's good. Actually, you can notice here, you can see it doesn't work as intended because we only made a shader to look on the planes right. We didn't do on the planes up and down, but I can show you really quick how to address that. So I added some nodes here and I'm going to show you what to do. So here we're doing the forward and here we're doing the right, but we also want to do the upward. We don't have the upward here, so we can do the cross product. So we have the forward and right and do the cross product. That means you get the opposite direction. So if you look in here, so here we have the blue and red, but we're missing the green one that going upwards. So if we do the cross product, we will have the upwards. So you see this green upward thing. But we are doing it in local space, so we get it in the kind of upwards here. So we kind of get it in the green up here. So then we can address this part here. So here we're just going to make sure that we do the dot product between the up and this one, that is the distance to the pixel from the center. And then we do green going to be the upside size, because it's going to be the eye. And then we're going to multiply this comparison with each other like this. We can just put it like this, a little bit nicer. This one can go here. And if we save this part here and go back, and now, yeah, you see now it works. Perfect. So now it works. Okay, so, but we're going to do we're going to address the VFX in this part actually. So we have the player here, and now we're going to do the VFX part. So I'm just going to copy this name and create a visual effect. And we're going to do a minimal system. Perfect. And we actually, let's see, we're going to add it on the prism bars. So now these prism bars have the VFX, but I didn't want it as a child. I want actually, and this is important, I want the dissolve effect to be on the prism bar itself, because we're going to read the transform, because the visual effect is able to read the transforms, rotation and such, because we need to address the particles in this manner too. So now we have the visual effect, and I'm just going to add here to this one. We're going to use a little bit more. And I only added this using Unity Engine VFX, so we can use the VFX plugin. And then I'm just adding the color to the VFX. So whenever we are controlling the color on our controller VFX material script, we will also add the VFX here. So now you see we have an empty VFX here, and the prism bars, that's where the visual effects are. So on the controller, we just drag and drop the prism bar here. So this is good. Now we have the visual effect in place, and the errors are still here. Value name color was not found. And that's because in here, we haven't created any color yet. So if we just maximize this one, the first thing we need in the properties, we need to add a color. So here we have the color, so that's great. And if we save this one now, and we go back, and now you see the errors stopped here. So now we can clear it and we don't have any more errors. What? I think we can skip this for now, because we actually did add it. Well, color. like this. I was wrong spelling. Okay, now it's gone, because now we have color. So we are doing this effect now. So in order, you see all this plane position, forward and right, we don't really do it this way, because we will, this visual effect is placed on this bar, so we will read it directly. So now we're going to address how to do this kind of stuff here. And what's really important is that this, this mesh here, this mesh here, we need it to be read and write. Really important, because if you look at it, we need to find the mesh. And whatever mesh you have, you need to click on it, and then you need to do read and write. And we need to read on this one, because in here, we're going to start working on skinned mesh. So if we do sample skinned mesh, we need to use this one, because we're going to read the character, so we can add our particles on it. So we also need to add here on properties a skinned mesh renderer. It is going to be the skinned mesh renderer, and we're going to sample it in this node here. So this is a setup, and I'm going to go through this a little bit more, but first now I'm going to just go show you some other stuff. And we're just going to do here a single burst, because we will always have the particles in place. So here, you can decide how many you want. I'm going to do 100,000. And then here I'm going to, in the capacity, it will only do 64 of them. So I'm going to here do 1 million. So if we want, we can up to 1 million. So that's cool. So now we have, 100 particles. That's okay. Or actually, let's do 10,000 for now. So we also here in the initialize, we want to set size. And we can do 0.01 on this one. And that's everything we need to do in the initialize. And then in the update, we're going to set the position. So if we do position here, and what we want to do, we want to get position on this sample skinned mesh. And how it works is, so you see here that there's a lot of particles on the head, and there is less particles on the body. Here it's more, and it's not really even, and I don't really know how to address that for now. Well, there might be ways to do it, but for now, I'm not going to address that. And the thing is, if we look at this character here, the reason is because here, you see there's not so many vertices, but here we have a lot of vertices. So the thing is that the particles will spawn on the vertices. The vertices is all the connections of these lines here. So you see here, it's not so many vertices, but here is a lot of vertices. So that's why it's uneven like it is here. And it's good to understand this. The reason it's good to understand is because here we want to set the particle in some vertex in where we want to sample the skinned mesh. So here, this is a mesh, the character. We want to know on vertex 0, we want to read the position. So we'll read the position on vertex 0, which means that all 10,000 particles will end up on vertex 0. And I'm going to leave it like this for now, so we see what's happening. And here we're going to do set color. We already have the color, so we don't need to think more about that. And then we're going to do, yeah, here, let's do a square. I believe it's inside. Yeah, I have a square. You can just do one if you don't have. And let's save this and see how this turns out to be. This very simple setup. So we'll go back to the scene, and then we're going to take this one to be 0, and then we just take this one to be yeah, I don't see anything. Let's see, I would like to see something. Maybe we didn't save it or something. I'm gonna do a really big size, so I'm sure it's in the scene. Okay, so here we have it. Here we have a big 10,000 particles. You see it lagging? Because we have 10,000 transparent. Well, they are not transparent, but they are 10,000 at least. So we know it's working, so let's do 0.1 and save that. See, actually we can just have it down here. So I'm gonna take this bar and just hide it for now. I'm not gonna remove it, the game object, just the mesh renderer. And then I'm gonna just raise this one. Oh yeah, okay, so here it is. So we also need to do this orientation. Set or orient. No. Orient. Here. Orient advanced. And we're going to do it face camera position. Now they will always face us. So let's do it smaller again. So 0.1, and here you see it. So the reason we see it in the center and not in here is because, there's two things actually. So one thing is that this VFX setup has no skinned mesh renderer. I forgot to place it, so I'm gonna take this one, the character here, and just place it, and here we have it. And now it's not in the center, now it's over here somewhere. I can't see it where it is. If we do it higher. Okay, so vertex, I wonder why it's up there. So let's see. Sample skin mesh, do it in world. Okay, so now it's down here. So if we place, for now, we just place this one here. So now it works, and so we sample this one in the world position, and that's why it's more correctly. I hope everything makes sense for you guys. It's a little bit sometimes tricky, but okay. So now we have all 10,000 particles on the head position, and that's because the vertex 0 is there. And now we want to understand what's going on here. So when we do clamp, well, you don't know how many vertices these characters have. And if we do like this, if we do get particle ID, and you do like this now, and we can lower this one here to 0.1. Now you see the particles is only placed over here. And the reason they are only placed on here is because they are only covering the first 10,000 particles that we decided to have, but the mesh might have 1 million vertices. So we only cover a bit of it. So we only take the first 10,000 vertices on the skinned mesh. And what you could do, if you just do a random int, and yeah, the seed here, you can do we have the particle ID like this, but we can remove it because here you see seed per particle. So it's the same thing. It should be, at least. I'm pretty sure it is. Actually, I'm getting not so sure about it, so I'm going to leave it. And then we do random between. So here I do like 10,000 or something. No, actually 10 millions. I'm doing a lot. So now it will try to go and vertex maybe number 5 million. Now we have clamped. All the particles will stay on the last particle instead, because they are kind of clamped. So if we do wrap, it's kind of just going around. So if you have one, oh my gosh, if you have a lot of particles per VFX component, okay. So now you see, if you only have 10 or 100, now you see they only go up to 100. But if we do this more, you see we kind of grow. But if we overshoot and do a lot of particles, now it's gonna go up to the maximum amount, and then it starts on 0 again. Now we get kind of a little bit more even randomized. So this is good, and I'm going to stop it here. And in the last part, I think I'm going to finalize everything and make sure it works like in the shader, where it's only affects when it's inside the bounding box. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next tutorial.